Hello my friends, welcome or welcome back to my channel. This is Miss May. My channel, I do a variety of lifestyle videos. In today's video, I want to share with you how I got my six-pack abs. So the story is I work at a gym and I'm a yoga instructor and I work with a lot of talented fitness instructors and a lot of strong men and women. One of the questions I got asked the most was,
how did I get my six-pack abs?
If this is the first time in my channel, just some background, I am pretty fit in my entire adult life. I was pretty fit before I was pregnant, and during pregnancy I gained 50 pounds, 50. And now at the time of filming this video and taking these pictures and the videos, I am actually 10 months postpartum. My baby is 10 months. I think I had abs before I was pregnant, and then I gained the weight. Of course, my abs were gone during the pregnancy, and now my abs are back. I think about like 4 to 5 months postpartum. So a lot of times people ask me, how did I get abs? You're pregnant, and how did you get your abs back after you gained the weight and lost the weight? Today's video, I'm gonna spill all of my tea how I got my six-pack abs. But before I start, I just want to say that six-pack is not necessarily anyone's fitness goals. Like, you can be super strong without the six-pack, and so many people stronger than me and they don't necessarily always have six-pack shown. So in today's video, I just want to share, like, if it is your goal to get your six-pack for the summer, here are my tips. But you don't have to be obsessed over six-pack. It's not an indicator whether you're strong or fit. It's just something for the looks, I would say, but I do have a pretty strong core. Okay, let's get into today's video. Okay, so I have my notes right here. The first thing first is, as the old saying goes, your six-pack is made in kitchen, and people are not wrong. Yes, diet and your overall lifestyle is very essential if you want to see that six-pack for this summer. First of all, to be able to see six-pack, we have three requirements to be met. The first one is your body fat percentage. You need to be like somewhat lower so that like there's not a lot of fat covering your muscles. Hey guys, it's editing Ming here. I just want to clarify, when I talk about body fat percentage, this is not your BMI. It's actually your body fat percentage. BMI is one of the most inaccurate marker to see your fitness. Or I have pretty average, even sometimes a high BMI, but that doesn't mean that I have high body fat percentage. It could be because I drink a lot of water before I weigh myself, or because I built a lot of muscles. And truth to be told, after I lost the pregnancy weight, I actually gained a lot of weight, and I actually gained in muscle but not in fat. So you can see BMI is based on your weight and height, is very inaccurate. So when you measure body fat, you have different ways of measuring it. There are certain weight scales that you can buy, but those are mostly inaccurate, but you can still use it to track the trend of your body fat, not necessarily to see like a pinpoint how much percentage. Second of all, you can use the in-body scan, which is available at my gym, so I used the in-body scan for my body fat percentage. The more accurate one will be the DEX scan. There has been a study to look at the reliability of in-body scan versus the DEX scan. It sees that there are slightly inconsistencies between the two. The in-body scanner can over-measure your muscles and under-measure your body fat, but it's usually within 1 to 3%, so that is okay. It's pretty accurate as it is, knowing that it can be slightly off. Second of all is you need a strong core. You actually, just like how you work on your bicep, you need that muscles in your core, so that when your body fat is dropping, that you can see the actual muscles, that it's sculpted in that six-pack, and then the mermaid lines on the side. And it requires a lot of work. It also requires a lot of in the diet, because you can work out a lot but not building muscles if you don't eat enough protein. The third requirement to be met is that you probably don't want a lot of water retention. You probably don't want to be bloated. So if you're going to the beach with your dream vacation, trying to take some beach photos, you probably don't want to be bloated and with a lot of water retention in your body. In that case, your six-pack is probably not as obvious as, you know, when your body is not as bloated. So now I'm going to share all of the tips in terms of how to meet those three requirements. All right, so the first thing is about body fat percentage. So here I just want to do a disclaimer. The body fat is not always the lower the better. You need enough fat for your hormone productions. You need enough fat in your body to maintain, for both men and women, to maintain your hormonal health. So that's why a lot of times when women, they try to lose weight, their period is gone, your body fat is like too low, your period may be going away if you're not eat enough fat, because your sex hormones for both men and women and your cortisol levels are also made with cholesterol. So if you don't eat enough healthy fat, then your body is not making enough sex hormones, then it's not good for your hormonal health. Same thing, if you're super stressed, then all of your cholesterol will go to make your cortisol. So when you're super stressed, your period may be a little bit off. Hormonal health is not today's topic, but I just want to say, whether if you're men or women, just be mindful, the body fat is not the lower the better. You want that ideal percentage where it's high enough to maintain your overall health, but it's low enough for the aesthetic reasons and lower risk of like high blood pressure and cardiovascular issues. So here I have charts from different sources. For women between the age of 20 to 29, what's considered dangerously low is under 14%. What's considered dangerously high is over 27%. To be able to show your abs, I want to say your body fat is probably better in between that 20% range, ranging from 18% to 23% is, for me, I could see my abs. If you're in between the age of 30 to 39, it says under 14 is dangerously low, over 29 is dangerously high. For women between 40 to 90, under 14 is dangerously low, over 32 is dangerously high. The dangerously high, it goes a little bit higher, the ceiling. For body fat for men, women naturally have higher body fat than men, so that's why we can compare men to women in terms of this body fat percentage. Under 8% is considered dangerously low, 20 to 29. Over 23% is considered dangerously high. For between 30 to 39 years old, over 25 is considered dangerously high, under 8% is considered dangerously low. 40 to 49 is over 26%, under 8 is considered dangerously low. So for men, if you want to see your abs, you kind of want your body fat range in between that 14% to 20%. For female, you probably want it in between your like 17, 18, like 16% to 23%. Also, I just want to alert you, different sources have different recommendations to see what's ideal, what's considered lean, average, and what's above averages. So here is the chart from Dexcom. What's considered ideal is a little bit different from the previous source. As a female, I don't want my body fat to go lower than 16%. As a matter of fact, I try to maintain my body fat percentage towards like over 18%. Once my body fat dropped to 18%, I try to gain weight. I try to gain a little bit more fat just so that I don't affect my hormonal health. And for men, I feel like since men don't have period, it's harder to have an indicator to see if anything is going on with hormonal health. If I were a man, I wouldn't want my body fat percentage to go lower than 10. I will probably keep it like maybe 12, 14 to 16. If you want to see your abs, you kind of want to watch out for your diet. No fast food. Definitely no. Try to cook, eat a lot of vegetables, eat a lot of protein, eat a lot of healthy fats. What are considered healthy fats? Salmon, like the natural omega-3 in salmon is really good, DHA in salmon. Eggs are really good. There's fat in eggs, but it's good fat. It has DHA in eggs as well. Avocado is great, avocado oil is great, olive oil is great. So those are the healthy fats you want to eat. And a lot of times people are like, I don't eat red meat because red meat has saturated fat. Honestly, ever since I started to eat more red meat, I got healthier and healthier. Lab results got better, but I don't eat red meat every single day because I don't like to eat red meat. So I try to eat my red meat like at least 3 times a week. And I think it's, proportion is moderation is the key. If you overconsume burgers and steak every single meal, probably not good for you. For body fat percentage, diet is the key thing. A lot of times people are like, I want to exercise so I can eat, but you can never exercise to compensate how much you eat. So I would say pay attention to the kitchen when you want to try to lower your body fat percentage. Try to lower your carbs intake if you're trying to lose that body fat percentage. eating more protein and fat rather than eating like junk food or snacks. Hey guys, it's Workout Ming here. So here I just want to share with you my diet to lose weight. Okay, I want to say when I try to lose the pregnancy weight, I have several constraints because nursing women shouldn't be fasting for too long. Nursing women also shouldn't go into keto diet. So certain tools that you can use, not applicable for me, but I still use my diet to help myself to lose weight. And here are the things that I did that may be helpful to you as well. First of all, when I was trying to actively lose weight, I eliminated most of the snacking that I had. So the idea of snacking is that in between the meals, you may feel a little bit hungry and then you're like, oh, I want to eat something. But okay, every time you eat something, especially when you eat carbs, it's going to spike your glucose, and you react to that spike in the glucose, your insulin is going to spike as well. So when I was actively trying to lose weight, I intentionally tried to keep my insulin somewhat steady, somewhat low, except for, after a meal, a healthy meal. So when I was actively trying to lose weight, I did not snack in between the meals. I was just eating my meals and that's it. And if I wanted to snack, I'll drink some water, sparkling water. Another thing that I did is, even though that nursing women shouldn't be fasting for a long period of time, you can still do some level of intermittent fasting, but not for too long. One thing that I consistently do is intermittent fasting. And honestly, this is not the first time I lost weight. When I was 18, I had some hormonal disorder, so I was taking hormone medication. I gained 35 pounds within 3 months. After that, I was trying to lose the weight that I gained during the medication treatment. So when I was trying to actively lose weight, and even when I don't actively try to lose weight, I love to do intermittent fasting. I do not like to eat breakfast. Again, you do you. If you want to skip dinner, you go ahead. But personally, I like to eat my dinner really, really late, maybe 9 o'clock. 10 o'clock, and then I will skip my breakfast and I'll eat my first meal maybe around 12 o'clock, maybe 2 p.m. Again, this is not a rigid schedule. It's not like, oh, it's not 2 p.m. I cannot eat. It's not like, oh my gosh, I'm consciously trying to do intermittent fasting. It's more of like, if I don't feel hungry, I don't eat. So there are days when I feel hungry right away. When I wake up, I'll just first thing first, eat some breakfast. But there are also days when I feel like, oh, I feel okay. I feel like intermittent fasting really helps me with my mental clarity. I love to skip my breakfast. But again, if you want to eat an early dinner at 5 p.m. and you don't eat breakfast until 10 a.m., that's also okay. Again, when you're doing intermittent fasting, your insulin level is kind of low. Personally, it helps. It also brings mental clarity in the morning. It makes me super productive. The third thing that I did when I was actively trying to lose weight was that I was monitoring my carb intake. Again, if you're nursing, keto diet is out of the way. And personally, I'm not a big fan of keto diet anyways, just because eating enormous amount of fat upsets my stomach. But you can also eat a somewhat low carb diet. So here I want you to think about not the glycemic index, but the glycemic load. So eating a piece of bread is going to be different from eating half of a bagel, because the bagel is very, very carb heavy. So I eliminated bagel in my life, but I still eat sandwiches with the soft bread. So bread still contains a lot of water. So again, it's not that much carbs if you just eat a small sandwich compared to eating a huge bagel. Think about how much carbs in total, how dense the carbs it is compared to if the glycemic index, how high it is. Because technically bread and bagel, they both high in glycemic index, but they're different in glycemic load. I try to eat a small portion of rice compared to this much of a rice. It really comes down to how much you eat instead of whether you eat or not. Another thing is, when it comes to glucose and when it comes to insulin spikes, I try to eat brown rice instead of white rice. It makes a huge difference. And also in the past, there were people saying
I'm gonna go on vegan diet to lose weight.
I don't know about that. Well, if you're a vegan for animal protection reasons, I respect you. But if you're trying to go on vegan diet to lose weight, to eat enough protein on a vegan diet, it's very hard for one, and second of all, the protein to calorie ratio from the vegan food compared to from meat or animal sources is very different. So that's another thing to consider as well. So think about the protein to calorie ratio. All right, so now second thing is muscle growth. Muscle growth has two things. The first thing is to eat enough protein. A lot of times I see a lot of people working out and they are so much stronger. They work out way more than me, but they're like, why don't I get that much muscle tone? down compared to you. It's really in the kitchen like this, but there are also times I feel like, wait, my muscle definition is gone. It's because there are always a week that I feel like I'm too busy to eat well if I don't eat enough protein. So in order for you to see your abs are just like your muscles, like in your arms. You need to eat enough protein to build that muscles. You can't just exercise and not eat additional protein to create that like muscles. Protein editing Ming again. So here I just want to add a little bit more things about eating enough protein, because I also want to caution you that not every single protein is built the same. Protein is not just protein, is a different source of amino acids. So there are certain essential amino acids where your body cannot build on your own, which means that you have to take these amino acids from protein sources. Not every single protein source is built the same. If you are vegan, so you want to eat a combination of pea protein, soy protein, rice protein, quinoa, buckwheat protein, a lot of different sources of protein just to get enough essential amino acids, a complete profile of amino acids, and that means you have to go for different sources, not just one particular source of plant protein. If you're not vegan, it's a little bit easier. Whey protein is pretty high in quality because it has a pretty complete profile. Egg protein is pretty good quality protein because it has complete profile of amino acids, but also like other chicken, meat, like liver, those things, it has different nutrients. So to build muscles, just make sure that not only you're looking at the protein amount, but also the profile of the protein that you're intaking with each meal. Second of all is the ab workouts. Here I'm going to demonstrate some of the ab workouts I personally do. Mainly two things that really help me. I only do body weight exercise for my abs. Mostly body weight exercise, and I've seen great results. So if you do it with weights, that's fine. If you go to the gym with weights, that's fine. The first thing is leg raises. So this one, I go to the gym and I hold myself into this like ab machine, and then I lift my leg raise up. So first I would go with my knee bend, and once you build that muscle strength, you can like lift your legs in a straight form. And also the second exercise is sit-ups, crunches, yogi bicycles, like a lot of those. For ab workouts, I like to do high repetition and just body weights, and also other types of core workout is also beneficial. Here I'm going to insert some of the workout that I recommend that you can do it at home. Oftentimes people ask me how many reps that I do. Honestly, it varies by day. It depends on how I feel. I generally recommend to train to failure when it comes to abs, which means that however you feel like, oh, you can't do one more anymore, that's the time you stop. Alright guys, now we're in our home gym on my yoga mat. Honestly, you don't have to go to a gym with weights to build six packs. I mainly did my abs at home. Actually, I didn't do them at home. I did them in yoga classes. Because every time people at the gym ask me, how did you get your abs? I'm like, it's from yoga, and people don't believe me. But I do a lot of power yoga practice, and in power yoga, we work a lot on our core. Even if you have strong abs, you kind of need that like lower fat percentage to show. Just because you're not seeing your abs doesn't mean you don't have them. Maybe you're just not seeing them. So the first thing first is yogi bicycle. This one you come to lay on reverse tabletop, bend your knees, and your knees are aligned with your hips. Interlace your hands behind your head. You don't need it. You can just do this, but I need a little bit of support with my neck. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, opposite elbow to opposite knee. So take notice here, I can't really touch my knee, but just stay here and little crunches and little crunches. So you can go back and crunch and back and crunch, and then you switch and back and crunch and back and crunch. So you can just keep doing the yoga bicycle, and then when you find this position, take a crunch and then go back. Yogi bicycle, take a crunch, go back. So the general rule of thumb is I try not to let my knees go past my hips. Maybe a little bit is okay, but if you're reaching right here, you're actually not using your core, you're using your hips. So you really use your core to reach and reach. So this is one of the exercise. So let me show you. So right to crunch, switch, left to crunch, switch. So the second exercise is double crunches. You can use weights for this one, and you just crunch like this. This is an exercise that you can do progressive overload. In this case, I have a 10-pound dumbbells. Inhale down, exhale crunch. Inhale down, exhale crunch. Inhale down,
exhale, crunch. So this is level 1. The level 2 is keep your legs extended, crunch. Inhale down, exhale, crunch. Inhale down, exhale, crunch. Inhale down, exhale, crunch. Next exercise is sit-ups. I need a little padding for my butt. I always keep my knees bent. You can try to straighten your legs. It's a little bit harder. The more bend your knees, the easier it is. So we'll come to sit-ups, like laying down. Take a deep breath in, exhale, sit all the way up. Inhale down, exhale, sit. Inhale down, exhale, sit. Inhale down, exhale, sit. If you want to do a little bit of support, put your hands behind your lower back. So you can also do leg raises like this. But personally, that focuses more on your lower abs. If you want a little bit more, you can also use the weights to do what we used to do. Again, you can have your knees bent to make it easier. Or you can have your legs rise up and then do the crunches like this. It's a little bit harder. So this one, I like to do it without the weights just to keep from balance. So lift your heels right to left, right to left. The general rule of thumb is that if your goal is to gain hypertrophy of your abs, you kind of want to do a lot of these like crunches and things like that. But in classes, we also do a lot of core in the plank position, like high plank, this way, or forearm plank. It's also very good for your core, but that movement, the isometric movement, is really for your deep core muscle tissues. It's to build the strength, not necessarily very beneficial for hypertrophy. It doesn't mean that you shouldn't be doing those like isometric moves. Actually, after the pregnancy, I focus more on doing the isometric moves because it builds my core strength and builds stability. It also helps me to prevent lower back pain, to actually relieve a lot of the lower back pain that I had. So my core is very strong to protect myself from injury, especially from injury of my lower back. However, if your goal is to get muscle hypertrophy, those isometric movements, they build strength a little bit more in terms of like how strength versus hypertrophy to build the muscles. So if you're doing this, you're getting stronger and stronger with the core, but it doesn't necessarily like make you have like the six pack. So you can also do some knee crunches, but again, this way is a little bit less compared to this way. So personally, I built my abs in yoga classes, and a lot of people don't believe me, but that is the honest truth. The majority of my abs are built in yoga. A healthy diet definitely helps you to be able to see your abs after you build the muscle groups.
All right, so the third thing that I want to talk about is your other lifestyle factors that may affect if your abs are visible or not. Water retention and bloating. So personally, my body fat is 18 to 19%. It's pretty low, I would say. I don't want it to go lower. I try to gain weight if I see it go lower. I work out a lot. I try to eat as much as protein, but there are some days it's just not a photogenic day. It's usually because I have bloating or I have water retention in my entire body. Here are the factors that may affect your bloating and water retention of the body. First thing I think most people know is salt. If you eat overly salty food, the dinner the night before, the next day when you wake up, you're a lot of water retention in your entire body. But second thing is gassy food. If I eat a lot of Brussels sprouts, beans, sometimes I get bloated. Some people also bloat over dairy. So just be careful. Like if you are going for a photo shoot in by the beach, you probably want to go a little bit lower with like those gassy food. But it doesn't mean that you should never eat Brussels sprouts or whatever. It's just that if you want to show off your abs, try to decrease that bloating, the chance of bloating. Thing is alcohol. I drink zero alcohol. I personally cannot drink because I have this genetic variation where I cannot process alcohol. In my life, I think I drank alcohol like 3 times. It's among those 3 times I realized I am allergic to alcohol, cannot drink. So I don't drink. I drink zero alcohol. What alcohol does is that it increases the inflammation of your body. It also increases the water retention of your body. It makes you bloated. It makes your face swollen. Everything is swollen, and even if you have great muscle definition, it's probably not gonna look as good because of the alcohol you consume. If you stop drinking for 3 months and you take a picture before and after, usually people see a difference in terms of the water retention in their body. The fourth thing about water retention most people don't know is your carbs and sugar intake. So your carbs, like the sugar that you eat, if you don't want to be bloated, eat less carbs. This doesn't mean that you have to go keto. No, you don't have to go keto. It just means that don't over consume carbs. So personally, I noticed, like, I personally really like pita chips. It's my guilty pleasure. It's this Stacy's pita chips that I get from Costco. Consume this pita chips over the course of like maybe 5 days over the week. And that week is usually I'm super bloated. I always feel like, oh, my pants are tighter, my everything is tighter, my face is bigger. Chips, not too much bread, just eat some brown rice, eat some potatoes. Those are usually okay. It doesn't mean that you can't eat carbs, you just lower the consumption of carbs. No white rice, no chips. If you eat bread, just eat 2 pieces of bread for a sandwich, not like eat a significant amount. Those are my tips and tricks and how I got my 6-pack. And honestly, your 6-pack is not built in one day. I started doing sit-ups every night before bedtime since I was 13. Okay, I did it from 13 to 18 and I stopped doing that from 18 to now, but I've been working out at the gym. It's just from 13 to 18 I didn't go to the gym. I did most of the workouts at home or running in our neighborhoods and stuff like that. It's like part of my bedtime routine. I just like it. It helps me to relax. It's like a weird thing that I did when I was dealing with a lot of stress from like middle school and high school. I love to work out my abs. So if you want to work out your abs, try to do ab workout every single day. I know it sounds hard, but you only need to do 5 minutes of ab workout every single day. You don't have to do like a whole hour. You don't have to dedicate a whole hour of it. But personally, it really helps me. Alrighty, that's it for today's video. I hope all of the tips and tricks that I talk about in this video is helpful to you if it is your goal to get the 6-pack abs. Comment down below if you have other tricks and tips, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!